he's having his best years of his entire career here in Seattle.
I'm at the point, after I saw him hit 300 over the weekend, I'm at the point where I don't see it as being crazy to trade him or crazy to hang on to him. I would like to hang on to him. And I caught a little bit of flack from a couple of friends on Twitter, actual Mariner fans who live out of the state, by the way, saying it's crazy to not trade him now. Well, I don't think it's necessarily crazy either way because you don't know what you're going to get back, right? If you trade him away, maybe that's fine.
It's going to be prospects.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to get prospects, and that could be the next Nelson Cruz. Who knows? But you don't know that. And if you hang on to him for another year, maybe you get another great year out of him. So I could really go either way on that.
Actually, I could not. I think that you'll never get trade value for him, commiserate with what he's actually doing for you right now. I mean, you just won't.
Not immediately. Well, you don't know the next player isn't going to turn into whoever.
You never know who that's like. But I mean, he's not a guy. You're talking about proven commodity, proven
versus potential,
and with a team-friendly contract for one more year at $14 million, which is a bargain for a guy who produces like this. Most of those guys are making twice that, close to twice that.
He's got 70 runs driven in.
Oh, I know. Only Edgar, I think, that's second all-time to Edgar's 86 that year?
At the All-Star break?
For the Mariners. It's one of their best numbers ever. Griffey's probably had some pretty big numbers, and A-Rod is last year here probably did as well. But you're talking about a guy who is your cleanup hitter, leading the league in RBIs. You trade him for prospects, understanding they could be good prospects, but
they could be busts too.
It's just the value that he has is here.
They could be busts too, but you're not going to give him another contract.
And he's got 1 year left on his deal, so he's not. It's not like you're trading a guy with 4 or 5 years of play. He just doesn't have that much value.
Well, and listen, if he keeps producing, yeah, maybe you do look at giving him a contract. You're not going to give him a long-term deal,
right.
But maybe it's a 2-year deal with club options, something along those lines. But yeah, you're not committing long-term. But I'm guessing they'd be more than happy to bring the guy back if he continues to produce. Now logic tells you he's 37. Is that realistic to expect at the end of this deal? So at the end of this year and at the end of next year, he's going to still be this guy? I would bet against it, but man,
I'd have bet against what he's done so far.
Yeah,
though.
Nobody expected what he's done so far.
He just has. I just don't think you'd get commensurate value, even in terms of prospects. I mean, when I was talking about it with Clayton, I said, the only way I'd trade him would be for a team's very best AAA pitching prospect, a guy who you would when you trade for him, you would expect him to go into your rotation. Mm-hmm. He'd have to be considered a top 10 guy. Now, as a team, let's flip the switch a little bit. If you're that team who has that guy, meaning you probably got him under control for 5 or 6 years, you're going to trade him for a 36-year-old guy, as you pointed out, Tom, who's looking a little creaky. I'm putting it nice, but running around the bases, right? You're looking at him, he's like, this guy's a little beat up.
It depends how offensively challenged I am.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that offensively challenged, you're not in the race.
I don't know about that.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay, I haven't gone through and looked at all the teams that are in the race and looked at which teams can't score runs.
There are those teams, though. It's funny that those teams, and the Yankees are among them, need a first baseman. Red Sox
they do need a
first
baseman, but they're not going to stick him there.
No, that's my point.
Okay.
I mean, so I just know he's a DH, so he's got no value to any National League team.
True.
Basically, right? I mean, he can't play the field, and he's only a DH in the American League.
Right.
He just doesn't have the value to other teams, I think, that he has for you here right now.
I agree. I
just wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't even think about it.
Unless you're getting something you never expected to get in terms of prospects, like you're getting the jewel of somebody else's system, okay, then I guess I could live with that. But if you're getting middling prospects, what's the point?
And that's what you're going to offer if you're on the other side for a guy who's 37 with 1 year left on his contract.